5,
Um,
4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Hello, my friends. This is take 3, attempt 3 at redoing anyway, the final section of this podcast. And I mean, if it's as long as the previous attempt, it might even be its own podcast. So before we begin, I gotta tell you what happened, because I kind of goofed. So the first time I did this, Ewan had left, he had gone to bed, and it was just me and Brett. And I've said this a few times, and it's really apparent in the main podcast. So earlier that day, I had received my second vaccine shot, and then progressively as the day went on, I kind of got sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And so when the podcast starts, I'm kind of okay. I'm tired, but I'm okay. And then, like halfway through, you start hearing me sniffing, and then at the end.
All right.
Because it's like my nose is getting blocked from the cold, whatever. And then by the end of it, when we were answering questions, I just fell off a cliff. I was really sick, and we actually had to end it in a pretty rough way. I don't think we even finished it. So then yesterday, the day before, we decided to redo it, and this time we got Ewan. And it was literally like an hour and 54 minutes long of us answering your questions, having a really good discussion and all that. And then it turned out that I didn't correctly record them. So, we had to...
Because Ben just loves the sound of his voice so much,
Yeah.
it was...
That's exactly...
So basically, he did this deliberately so that he can spend more time with us.
Yeah. So...
There we go.
So, this is...
We're actually trapped in his basement, send help.
This is the third time I am answering his questions. The funny thing is, I still have the original time of me and Brad answering the questions, and then I have my voice, my version of me answering the questions from attempt 2. So who knows, maybe I'll do something with that. Maybe I'll put them on a second channel or something. I don't really want to just throw that away, because although the answers we gave, Brad and I, and the answer I gave in the second attempt they're pretty much the same answers, I do think as time has gone on,
It's going to be the same here as well.
yeah, I think definitely for me, I feel like in the time gap from the first time to the second time, my answer kind of shifted a bit, and I had a little bit more time to kind of think about it. So, and definitely now. So, anyway, with that being said, we have a total of 13 questions, and we're going to get through them, and it's going to be good. So, just actually, by the way, I still don't know if I'm gonna just add this on top of the other podcast, or if it's gonna be its own podcast or what, but just, I guess, as a basic thingy, I'm gonna reintroduce everybody. So, me, it's your boy Venextron. Yeah, yes, I'm here. And then I am joined by my...
Wow.
Yes.
We don't even know if this is going to make it on the internet.
I am present, I am here, I exist. My name is Ewan. There you go. What more introduction do you need?
It's me, Brad, your Charles of the Nine boy.
Brad.
Give me Thorn. Love Thorn.
You get water.
Yes.
Anyway,
You're a thorn.
So
It's my Thorn, okay?
So
I love how we're all known for our signature guns. You know that?
yes.
True, actually.
We all have our own
Mhm.
sort of gun. Anyway,
Wait, what's my signature gun?
That's off topic. That's a good question actually, because you have Matthew who has malfeasance. I'm Thorn. You've got
We all know your
Max
opinion
who
on that.
loves Icebreaker. Ben adores Pocket Infinity. Whenever I think of these iconic exotic guns, I always think of the person who I associate with that gun. So I don't know. I think that's really neat, and I know this is super off topic, but it sort of adds character to our Guardians.
It does.
It kind of does.
And I really love that. Very off topic, but yes.
Yes. So to begin with, and I'm gonna go get a drink of water. It's just on my bed, so I'm not going that far. So the first question is from Alex, our friend, and he's just asking about the state of the subclasses. So give your thoughts on the state of the subclasses now, and what you want to see in the future, and what you are you looking forward to what they do in the future, or whatever, blah blah blah. I will let one of you two go first. Okay.
Ewan, you can take the reins on this one.
Sure. Just kind of trying to remember what I said from last night. I
2 nights ago.
suppose I'd yeah. Oh yeah, 2 nights ago. Yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, you weren't here last night. But I'd love to see the whole all the darkness subclasses have more of like a utility, like a purpose. Like obviously, like with all the light plus subclasses, like when it comes to Warlock, you know, it's like Well of Radiance is nearly a no-brainer for any raid, or I,
Like a guaranteed
yeah.
thing that you would take for a raid.
Yeah, or then like with Titans, I guess you'd bring Bubble or something
Yeah.
like that. It's kind of like each subclass has its own utility, and it's kind of it feels useful. Whereas with Stasis, it's like I never use Stasis unless I have to for a bounty. I just never see myself really using it.
That's
I
interesting.
just find the light classes more effective. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, and I guess it's just kind of as well, like there's more armor exotics that benefit stasis. So yeah, I guess maybe as well then to when I say that, I'd like to see slightly off topic, but I'd like to see armor exotics that actually buff stasis in a way.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
it's interesting. It's interesting
Yeah.
that you actually say that. But so for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a Stasis main and I'm a Warlock main. I love Shadebinder. I actually think Shadebinder is the most fun super in the game. This is also a very personal opinion. But I think Stasis, apart from Hunter, is in a really good position right now. Well, actually, no. Let me take that back. Stasis is in a really good, but yeah, a bad.
It's better than what it was on
Yeah,
release.
it's in a bad good situation, and the reason why I say that is because Titan Behemoth doesn't exist anymore. Titan Behemoth has been completely nerfed to the ground to the point where, but you know, you activate the super and you're suddenly playing the game in slow motion. Like that is how slow they have buffed that nerfed that super, and it's stupid. Shadebinder for the Warlock, I think it's amazing. I think it's balanced. And there's a lot of people who's probably disagreeing with me right now, and I'm going to give the same answer that I gave in the last time we recorded this, which is because it's a meme by now that, you know, you're getting killed with stasis. Like, stasis is so frowned upon because of how long, you know, it takes to kill someone, you know, the freeze time and that sort of stuff. But you have to understand, with the Shadebinder now, there's really no difference between someone killing you with a Dawnblade and someone blowing you up with a Shadebinder. Like, either way, you're going to secure a kill. But the reason why I say it's balanced is because just like Dawnblade, you can run away from Shadebinder. I was literally in trials today, and the entire enemy team were able to just completely run around this corner and go round and round and round and completely just dodge my Shadebinder. I didn't get a single kill with it, so... But, you know, there are other times when I completely pop off of it and I wipe out the entire team. It's really just... I genuinely think that's how supers should work and how they work right now. So I think Shadebinder is in a really good position. I think it's fun. And the ad clear on it is insane for PvE. Hunters are broken. Shatter Dive is insane. Silence and Squall is insane. The way it tracks is insane.
Don't get us started on Silence and
The
Squall.
way it can
Oh my God.
freeze you when you're around corners is worse than Chaos Reach for Warlocks pre-nerf. It's just stupid. And again, I'm gonna give the same answer that I gave in the last time we recorded this, which is I have no problem with Silence, but what I do have is Squall. Squall is the problem. To me, if you get killed by Silence, that's completely... There's just no difference between you being killed by Silence and you getting shot by a Golden
Or
Gun. They're
Dawnblade.
both instant kills. Right, or Dawnblade, you know, they're all instant kills, so that's not the problem. The problem is Squall. The tracking, the slow, the freeze. It's just all against you in your favor, and it's just so difficult to play against because you've got two types of frustration. You've got slow, and being slowed makes you feel horrible because you know there's nothing you can do about it. Then being frozen makes you feel even worse, and then you die. You know, that's the difference between Silence and Squall. Silence instantly kills you. Squall takes its time to kill you, and it makes you feel crappy when you're playing the game.
Squall is basically a warning that pops up in your screen. It's like, okay, you're gonna die in like 3 seconds.
Right. So am I pleased with Stasis? Yes, for the Shadebinder. Behemoth doesn't exist, and the Silence and Squall needs a huge nerf, especially Shatter Dive. Shatter Dive is just ridiculous. the light subclasses, I'm really, really excited to see what they do with the light subclasses, and I actually do believe that they need a buff, because as much as you do have your strong
Not
ones,
all of them.
such as not all of them, yes, you have your strong
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
I think Dawnblade does not need anything added to it.
God no.
Chaos Reach does not need anything added to it. Something like Golden Gun, I think Golden Gun's in a really good position. I think it's fun to use. I don't think that needs anything added
Well,
to it.
I
Things
don't.
like Nova
I'll
Warp-
save that for my part. But you keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I think Nova Warp can use some work. I think Arc Strider can use some work. I think the Titan Hammers can use some work. So I'm really interested to see what they do with the light subclasses, and it's really well needed as well. The last time the light subclasses had any form of update was Forsaken.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new Void rework that they're going to work on.
I am too. I think
I'm wondering what they're going to do to
it's
it.
going to be amazing. I mean, we already saw a sneak peek of what they're doing with Hunter, where you can basically do a shatter dive with the Void subclass, and then you go invisible, and I think you silence the enemies around you. I think, don't quote me on that last part, but
okay.
Yeah, the light subclasses are in a much needed position whereby they need an update to bring them up to speed with what Stasis is currently like right now. And I'm genuinely excited, because I'll be honest with you, when I'm playing Shadebinder on a Warlock, I do not feel threatened by any light subclasses.
I thought you were going to say something else there.
No. So yeah, I'm very interested to actually see what they do with light subclasses. I'm really interested to see what new aspects and fragments they add to the light subclasses. So I guess, the state of supers, are they in a good position? Right now, everything's pretty okay, and I'm excited to see where they go in the future. On to you, Ben.
So, talking about subclasses at the moment, in regards to the stasis subclasses, when it comes to, so I'm pretty much in agreement with Brad. I actually do think Shadebinder is, I think it's probably the closest out of all three to being balanced. Listen, I don't have an issue with the super. I think the super is perfectly fine. My actual issue is really with the melee. Just because literally the guy pops out from around the corner and then range freezes you. For me on the Hunter, I have to throw 2 of my shurikens to hit you, and to freeze you, and I'm not even gonna have both of them available all the time because one's gonna be on cooldown usually. I just think that's the main thing. That's the main thing. But
at least you obviously you have to hit head on with the melee, and it's it's not just hit them.
But I don't mean to interrupt your answer, but the counter that I usually have for that is Top Tree Dawnblade, which has an infinite range melee. It tracks you and does burn damage over time.
Yeah, and I think that's broken too.
Yeah, exactly.
They can both. I think they can both be broken.
Especially if you have the claws of Ankara.
I mean, when you compare the two melees, I actually think that the Stasis one isn't as broken as the Dawnblade one. But yeah, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. But so I'm just saying that's the only thing, because I do agree that Shadebinder is balanced. I think that if I had to complain about anything, it's the melee. Titan, I think they overturned it. Nobody uses it, and then we were playing Trials, and when the one guy actually was a Stasis Titan, he used a super, and we all just laughed at him. And he ran from one person to the other. It's like what's the Piggy in the middle or whatever.
I literally said the guy's playing in slow motion right now.
Piggy in the middle, and it's like, oh, you can't catch me, and it's just So I think they definitely overtuned that. I think they definitely need to buff that. And then as for Hunter, I do think that, again, silence is fine. And what I said the last time we tried to do this is with Squall, I don't think it's even the damage or how fast it's moving. I think it's really the length of time it's there. It's because it follows you for so long. If they cut its time by half, then you could get away from it. Because I've had times, and I used this as an example before, where say you're shooting at enemies from behind cover, and then a guy puts a Squall behind you, you're trapped because you can't run away from it because enemies are there, and you can't go. So if and the thing is, it might not even be that close to you originally. So Yeah, so I do think
That's true. That's true.
But then
That's
yeah,
true.
so I do think if they were to reduce the length of time, and then obviously they have as we saw with the previous stasis nerfs, they have been balancing the sandboxes differently. So like in PvE, stasis is still pretty strong, and then they tuned it for PvP, which is perfectly fine. So like, yeah, I think that would be something that's fine. But that's stasis, right? And then I think stuff like Shadow Dive, I think they're a bit confused on how to. I think they were hoping that them nerfing it would fix it, but clearly it's not fixed it.
No. All they need to do with Shatter Dive is just reduce the damage that you take from stasis crystals.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what kills you. Shatter Dive isn't the thing that kills you. It's the explosion from the crystals that you're exploding that kills you.
Right off the top, a suggestion I would have for that is nerf the damage from crystals and buff and buff Shatter Dive itself in terms of like the resistances it gives you.
I mean, yeah, I agree
like
that.
That's just
I agree
make an exchange. Like that's just I literally just made that up.
Yeah. It's a give and take situation. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my take on stasis. As for the lights up classes, I think you have your strong ones that don't need help, and I think you have your other ones that do. So I think like in like the S tier, right? You've got Dawnblade. I think.
Yeah.
And sorry, we're talking about PvP, obviously. Dawnblade.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think Fist of Havoc is really strong. I don't think Fist of Havoc is broken though, but I think it's in a good place,
Yeah, Fist of Havoc is S tier, but it's not broken.
Honestly, I would put Thunder Crash up there. Like, you're not like, what are you gonna do about a Thunder Crash?
Freeze in midair.
Yeah, true. But and then I guess for hunters, then obviously. Like, Blade Barrage is always good, but the thing is nobody uses Blade Barrage anymore because Silence and Squall is the better shutdown super. And then
I'd be interested to see what they bring to that, actually.
Sometimes you'll see a Spectral Blades, but like when it comes to Hunters, I actually think that the light subclasses are really not doing too good because Stasis is so strong. It does damage, and it's a shutdown super, and it's a crowd control, like it can contain an area, it's very strong. And like Golden Gun, like honestly, if you're clever and you're smart, Golden Gun's never going to reach you. You just hide behind the corner and then you just make sure he can't see you. Another thing as well that I think is a big issue with Golden Gun is I think that there needs to be more of a difference between the two different Golden Guns. Because you have because you have your 6-shooter and you have your 3-shooter, but like for the 6-shooter, when I'm playing Crucible, like I get it, right? The only reason you would ever go with the other Golden Gun in Crucible is for the throwing knife. But that's just a meme. Like you're talking, that's a whole super that like you would never find me using the 3-shot in Crucible. Because like what? Oh, a maximum of 3 kills or infinite kills in 15 seconds. Like it's just obvious what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, true.
So I do think they really need to do something about bottom tree Golden Gun. I think Arc Strider needs help. I actually think middle tree Arc Strider. I used it, right, and there are things that the blocking thing won't block, and I just think that's unacceptable. The whole purpose of that super is that it will block projectiles, and yet there are projectiles that it won't block.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure stasis. I've been frozen by stasis. Well,
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I mean, you can return back Silence and Squall. You can return that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only on cast.
So, anyway, I just think in general that really needs a buff because like I remember when Forsaken came out, I was really disappointed that the Arc Strider. Just like,
Pinch your staff around.
like that's the only thing that So
it is underwhelming.
Yeah,
You're
and then
right.
I just think Arc Strider in general. Arc Strider in general it's really underwhelming. Like the super is decent, but like what would you rather use, Arc Strider or Spectral Blades?
Oh yeah, 100. Like obviously you go with Spectral Blades.
Yeah. So like I understand the whole idea that hunters are broken, but like in terms like realistically, they're actually like super wise. They do need some work. So that leads us.
The only thing broken about hunters is stasis.
Yeah, and like there are people that complain about stompies and all that, but like I don't know.
That's not really an issue.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like I don't know. But anyway, so this leads us.
That's not an issue.
This leads us to the future with the void thingy, and I mean, hey, that really could be the reason why we're still looking at a broken stasis subclass for hunters, because they know that once they redo the void subclasses, everybody's going to be using the void subclasses. And I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to with the light subclasses getting revamped is that it is going to really balance out and diversify the subclasses that people are using. It's not just going to be stasis or this or that, you know. So I'm in a really good place, good like mindset for that. I think something that I think a lot of us we've been kind of facing, it's doubts about the balancing team and the sandbox team. At least now we know what the plan is. We have an idea of what's to come. So like even like I think again we've had way worse sandboxes. I genuinely am enjoying the Crucible in terms of the sandbox, and I know that it's realistically only going to get better. So sandbox wise, I'm pretty happy.
I mean, they could do anything with these supers. You have to understand that they're bringing aspects and fragments to the light subclasses, and that could mean anything. Like we could get an aspect for the void subclass that literally says decreases freeze time on stasis projectiles or something like that. When you're in your super or something like that.
Well, the last thing I want to say is if you're using the fast Nova Bomb, they should add Shatter to it so that you shoot the 3 instead of just the 1.
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, I'm fairly sure Bungie are going to utilize the fragments and aspects to actually balance out the light subclasses with stasis. Yes. You know, I can pretty much guarantee you now there's going to be a aspect or a fragment for stasis.
I think,
or light, you know.
I think the fact that they have chosen to delay a new subclass coming in Witch Queen, that's really saved the sandbox.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because think about it, right? They'd have to juggle a new subclass and balancing that with then the void and then the new like it'd be a nightmare. At least with this,
and plus
at least with this, right? Let's just say the void comes out and it's broken, then they can balance that. Then they move on to Solar or Arc. Let's just say that's broken or needs a buff. They balance that. Okay, that's good. And then the last one comes out. Okay, they balance it and it's good. And then they release the new subclass and then balance that and that's good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like again, they've really dodged a bullet there. And I mean, they took a risk because there is a chance that the community could have really freaked out about not getting new subclasses, but people are fine.
I think people just need to kind of get a grip though.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if they add a new subclass, we've got a complete repeat of Beyond Light, whereby the entire expansion isn't so much focused on the story and more so a giant marketing campaign for the actual subclass itself.
Exactly.
I am so happy that because we now have story-driven content to look forward to in Witch Queen purely because they delayed a subclass to Lightfall.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that because the Taken King introduced 3 new subclasses and it didn't bother the story at all.
Yeah, I know, but they were in such a different position back then. You know, it was. I'm fairly sure it was a different team because they had Activision back then as well, and more people, more studios helping them work on that. But that's neither here or there. I mean, they did. You're definitely right. They did dodge a bullet by changing the idea of having a new subclass. Does that make me worry for Lightfall? It does slightly because it means maybe Lightfall could be a marketing campaign for the new super. We'll just have to see what happens. But I'm just really glad that it's not happening right now. What Ben is saying is right. If they release the new subclass, then that means the light abilities would just fall back even more. And in terms of gameplay mechanics and sandbox, that just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else they want to add to this question, or is that?
No, I think we've got on that question quite a long while.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to the next question. This is from Brady Schulenberg. He says, correct me if I'm wrong, but the winnower's doing is usually indicated by strong gravitational shifts and such that would be capable of, say, removing 4 planets from our solar system. My question is, if this was his doing, do you have any idea as to why he might have interfered? And then... Wait, he might have interfered then, considering he had not concerned himself with the doings of the pyramid ships up until that point. So this is a 2-point question. First part of the question is, really, who was responsible for sunsetting the 4 planets apart from Luke Smith? And then
Apart from Luke Smith.
the second
Thank God we
part,
still have Red of Radiance.
the second part is whoever did it, why? So I will let just anybody else go first. Okay.
I mean, my answer is I'm gonna make my answer super quick because I've said the same thing 3 times now. This is gonna be the 3rd time. Do I think the winner is involved? No. And again, like I said in my last answers, I'm gonna take us back to when the collapse happened, and the pyramid ships were losing the fight up until the winner came along and basically won. And you know, the last time that the pyramid ships fought the Traveler was at its full strength, its full power. Now the pyramid ships, you know, they came into our system at the very moment that the Traveler was weak and hindered and broken and cracked. So they saw this as a prime opportunity to come along and attack. You know, they entered the solar system, they were getting closer and closer, and they were on all of these planets. And eventually the Traveler pieced itself back together and was then, again, just like in the collapse, at its full strength. And that's when the pyramid ship sort of backed off and thought, no, okay, this is probably not a good idea to approach it any longer, because the last time this happened, it didn't go so well for us until the winner turned up. So I think that the winner has no involvement right now with the planets disappearing. And I believe the reason why the pyramids are gone right now is purely because they just don't feel safe enough to attack the Traveler now that it's at its full potential. And they're waiting for the winner to come along. Like it says in the written lore, the winner is currently on his way. And I think the next time we see the Black Fleet again is when the winner has entered our solar system, because that's when they won, you know? They were losing up until he came along, and I feel like that's what they're doing again. So that's my answer.
Oh yeah, you go first, Ewan.
Oh yeah. No, I'm completely in agreement. I think with what Brad said. The pyramids know that they by themselves they don't really stand a chance against the Traveler. And that's why they're they're there, but they're not. Yeah, they're there, but they're not taking chances that they know they can't make. They're being careful. They're being sort of. They're sitting back, and they're definitely waiting for the winner to come for sure. But then at the same time, they are being a bit cheeky. You know, I mean, like they've approached us as Guardians. They've been helping us get stasis. And I don't know. I think maybe they're being cheeky. Maybe they're trying to get to us as Guardians. Maybe trying to get us to fight their battle. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a possibility, you know. Okay, so my opinion, it's very much similar to, again, Brad's. I mean, there's only one possible indication otherwise, in my opinion. But I do think that the winnower did not do this with the planets. And the main reason, again, comes down to motivations. So the winnower doesn't, like, hate life or anything like that naturally. It's not like, oh, there are people having fun, I'm gonna go wipe them out or whatever. It's mainly I guess a matter of, are they strong or not. So I mean, technically, yeah, he would go to a planet and then test it, but like the key difference with our planets now is that there wasn't life on them. So like there would be literally no point in him. So then you go to the collapse, right? Okay, so then why did the winnower nuke the solar system during the collapse? Well, it's because you had civilizations on them and they had been given a golden age. They shouldn't have been there because they didn't earn the Traveler terraformed the planets. Humanity should not have had cities on those planets at all because we weren't capable of doing that. That's exactly why the winnower was like so mad about the golden ages, because, you know, it went against his whole logic. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, back then, he did what he did, and he didn't like actually destroy the planets. He wiped out all the cities of the life or whatever, and then he moved on. So that's that. And then second of all, if he did disappear the planets, there's no reason why, because there's nobody on them really. So I really don't see, I really can't see it being him. The only possible thing maybe is Presage mission. The Presage mission, in my opinion, is the first, I guess, official introduction to the Winnower as a character, even though he doesn't really even say anything or do anything. It's about him, and it just so happens to take place right outside of, I believe, Mars. Oh no, actually it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was outside the Technical Shore, wasn't it? Never mind. I take it back. Yeah, no, yeah.
It's literally on the map.
Sorry, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, I take it back. I apologize. Anyway, so that's that. There's no real reason I can see for it being the Winnower that did that. Anyway, and as for the pyramid ships, I can't answer how they did that, right? Some of the boys in the Discord, they were talking about, how it could be a form of technology that is... A guy actually had a really good comparison of... he compared it to Oryx, how he basically took his, throne world and he kind of, put it inside out so that it was in reality or whatever, actually in reality. It was weird. But anyway, people, the boys have come up with some possible reasons. So, obviously the pyramid ships, right? They're very technologically advanced. Very technologically advanced. Is there a chance that it's, science of some kind or whatever?
Is there a chance maybe that it's some sort of a Vex simulation where the planets appear to be gone?
No, because I think somebody said that in the lore, I could be wrong, but somebody said that in the lore, scans were done of where they were and the masses of the planets, it's still there, it's just that they're inaccessible.
Right. It could be. I actually... No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I mean, I see. Here's the thing is, right, it's really split into two parts: technology and science, or darkness powers. Because here's the thing, right? Asher Mir, he was observing the pyramid ship over Io, and he I think the first thing he did was shoot at it, and he observed, and the bullets and whatever he shot at it literally just disappeared before even touching the hole. And he was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That could be a kind of, science shield or something. It doesn't have to be, magic. Another thing as well is that with
some form of cloaking.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
But another thing as well is that, you have something like the hive magic, and that's specifically said to not, what was it? The ignorant will call it magic or something like that. It's not actually magic. It's scientific of some kind, but we just don't understand it. So there's a chance, right, that the pyramid ships and whatever's inside them, through their own intelligence and their own, capabilities, did that. But there is also a chance that they have darkness powers, or that they, I don't know, draw on from the Winnower that they use. There's a chance. So, what I'm trying to say is, right, I don't know how they did it, but I don't think it's important. As for why they did it, I think it was an intimidation tactic and a power play to show, because obviously, they're trying to get us to convert. And by the way, we're not the first Guardians they've approached. In the lore for the Kentarch 3, the boys in the Black Garden, it's a bit... I would say it's very much likely that they were also approached by whatever was inside the pyramid ships. So they clearly want us to join them. And they're saying, oh, the traveler is weak, the light is weak, we are strong. What better way to show your strength than by nuking 4 planets, So I think it's just to show that they mean business and we should join them. And
I actually agree with that.
And my final point in regards to what Brad said about the traveler. Now, I was mad when, ever since season of The Worthy, we had the map of our solar system getting updated each week with more and more and more and more pyramid ships coming in, and then Beyond Light happened, and then Season of Arrivals happens, and you got the 4 planets with the 4 pyramid ships, and you got little scales flying around the place, and then Beyond Light happens, and you just don't see anything. Now when you look up in the sky, you see Cabal ships. It's what? And I do think that's really just because Beyond Light was a bad expansion, and they really had no idea what they were doing with the pyramid ships. But I mean, apart from that, if you want to really make up a lore excuse, Brad's thing does make sense. We do know from the lore and also from in-game cutscenes that the pyramid ships attacked the Traveler by themselves, and they lost. And they lost multiple times. And it was only until the Winnower showed up that they finally won. So, there's a chance that they came into our system. A question I actually had, right? Because, like, I think Brad, you said last week that they knew it was weak. I don't know how they would have known it was weak. Like, I don't know if they had, like...
Well, they know it was weak because when the Traveler exploded at Goal, because he turned into a god, that entire beam of light that it shot out awoke the pyramid ships.
Yeah.
And you know, once that hit them,
Yeah.
that was probably the signal for them to say, okay, something's just happened. We're awake now. Let's go.
Actually, I just realized, right? And one thing I will say actually is I do think, I know it's for the cutscene, right? But I think it was a bit crazy how the pyramid ships turned on like right away. I feel like it should have taken like a few seconds. Like somebody woke up. Oh, I gotta go.
I feel like they're
I gotta
waiting
go
the entire
turn
time.
on the thing. Maybe I don't know. But
Now I genuinely feel like they've just been waiting for this opportunity ever since the collapse happened. You
okay,
know?
fair enough.
Well, ever since the
Yeah,
Golden Age happened. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah?
but I think
I genuinely think that you know they've. I don't want to use the word stasis as a pun, but they were stuck in stasis in space. That beam of light happened. It hit them, and then they're like, okay, something's just happened.
And
in regards to the Traveler, let's get
so
going.
what's interesting, right, is that beam of light hit them, and that basically means, and they know that only one of two things could have happened. The first is that something threatened the Traveler so badly that it had to do that to defend itself, and second of all, it has done that just because why not? And that would have broken the deal with the Winnower, which means the Winnower would have gone on his way. So they would have known that the Winnower would start going on his way to the Traveler because it broke the deal. So either way, that blast actually was a go-ahead for them to move in.
It's also a sign of weakness. Either from both your examples, it shows a sign of weakness.
True.
Yeah, it's a sign of desperation. Yeah.
Well, the Traveler just being an idiot and helping out humanity and breaking the deal isn't really weakness, but I mean, it's weakness of the mind.
Right, but it's given into something.
Yeah. So anyway, what I was trying to say is, I think they came in, and the Traveler healed itself, and I mean, if you were to tell me, if Bungie comes out, right, and they officially say that the pyramids have not done anything because the Traveler healed itself, I will accept that.
So will I, because that's my theory.
I mean, but here's the thing. Realistically, we do know that there was false advertising, and that Beyond Light completely broke the continuity of the story and all that. But from a lore thing, it does make sense. It does. Anyway, I didn't mean to ramble on that long, but that's what
I actually think that your theory ties in really well to my theory when you said about the intimidation tactic. Because as much as the pyramid ships lost until the Winnower arrived back during the collapse, you know, this time when they were backing off and they realized that the Traveler was back at its full strength and its full power, they probably backed off and thought, you know what, we still want to show that we're a threat, so we're going to do this as an intimidation tactic whilst we wait for the Winnower to come and arrive to do what they did back.
It's actually interesting, because obviously we knew beforehand that they were going to get rid of the planets, but they only got rid of the planets after the Traveler healed itself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with your theory about it being an intimidation tactic, because, you know, realistically, the pyramid ships lost until the Winnower turned up, and they don't want to be. They know that they have to back off, and they know that they have to wait for the Winnower, but they also don't want to be seen as weak. So they're doing this as an intimidation tactic to say, hey, as much as we're waiting right now, we're still a threat, and here's why.
Yeah. So
I think your theory ties in pretty well with mine.
So, Mr. Schulenberg, I hope we answered your question. Hope you were happy with our answers anyway. I think we're all good with that question, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, question 2 comes from...
Question 3.
Question 3.
Question
Question
3.
3. Yeah. Question 3. This is from Azure Zealot. Actually, no, we'll save that one for later. Well, actually, no. We'll just do it.
Oh,
No,
this
we'll
is
just do it. We'll just.
Is this the one that we've saved all the time?
No. This is a different one. It's a different one.
Alright.
This is the one for me. It says, how does Beyond Light and What's to Come impact the theory you built up? Okay, so when I answered this before,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
when I answered this
I'll
before,
leave this one to
I
you.
ended up rambling, but I have a very good idea of how to answer this now, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay,
That's
so
fine, that's fine.
my theory. So before I say, so the theory that he's talking about is the Eldritch theory, which is my belief of the true nature of the darkness and the pyramid ships, and then I have my reason, my evidence and all that kind of stuff. So what he's asking is, with Beyond Light coming out and everything after that, how has that affected my theory? Has evidence been disproven or whatever? So we're gonna split the theory into 4 parts. The first part, the pyramid ships are not the darkness. The Winnower is the darkness. They're 2 different entities. They're 2 different characters in the plot. Okay. And for some people that might sound that makes sense, but there's a lot of people out there that are very diehard about the fact that because characters in the game call the pyramid ships the darkness, they're the darkness because the characters know everything. So that's a core thing. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is that number 2 is that the pyramid ships are not alive. They're just ships. They're just ships, and that there is a race. There is a race inside them. Again, people point out to the fact that the ghost said, "Oh, when I see the ships, I don't see a ship. I see a paracausal whatever entity thingamajiggy." The ghost is an unreliable narrator. The ghost has no idea what it's on about. Okay, cheers. So that's that. That's the part 2. Part 3 is I do believe that there is significant evidence to suggest that the race inside the pyramid ships were originally human at some stage. There's just a lot of evidence that suggests that. That's part 3. And then finally, part 4, there is also evidence to suggest that their leaders actually, wait, I was actually talking about this in the Discord. I'm going to just read out what I said in the Discord real quick. I said, I put it in bullet points, so it's really easy. I said, okay. Gardner gave humanity golden age thousands of years ago. They worshipped her as a god, which is why there are statues of her in the ships. She made guardians, quote-unquote guardians, powerful light bearers that may or may not have needed ghosts. They were worshipped as gods as well. So you have the Egyptian and the Greek gods, ancient Greek gods. Something made her leave them, possibly Nezarec, who knows. Then they, the Golden Age civilizations, used their Golden Age tech to make the pyramids and chased her. Then they found the Winnower and served him. They served him while also pursuing the Gardener for their own goal. So anyway, part 4 is that while giving a Golden Age to these people, that would eventually be the PP, she basically took a few handful whatevers and gave them the light, and they were overpowered and they were worshipped as gods that we see in mythology. So that's the 4 parts. That's the 4 core parts of the thing. So I would say that we are 50% proven correct. So that's 2 out of 4 parts. The first part that has been proven correct is that the pyramid ships are not the darkness, and that there is a different character, and that is the Winnower, or the voice in the darkness, or the entity. Presage first did that by and I talked about this. I had a whole video dedicated to analyzing the dialogue and explaining the hidden meanings behind it. I think it's Keitel says that the Cabal were trying to use the Scorn to communicate with the darkness, and she's referring to the pyramid ships because that's what everybody calls the darkness, the pyramid ships. And then the Osiris, who is actually Savathun, who obviously knows more about the darkness than Osiris even would, says not the darkness, the entity. And then Keitel says, is there a difference? And then Osiris says, the fact that there is a difference means we basically might not know really what we're on about. What makes our understanding of facade. So what Presage did was it said, no, there is a different entity which really is the darkness. And then even more recently, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had dialogue from Marasov basically saying that you have the forces of the darkness, which are the Scorn, the Taken, the Hive Worm gods, and the Hive, I guess, and then the Pyramid ships, but there's really the entity, or the voice in the darkness, that controls them all. So then again, not only are you separating the Pyramid ships from the entity, but you are placing the entity above the Pyramid ships and having the Pyramid ships serve that being. So again, I am saying now that that part has been 100% proven correct. The Pyramid ships are not the darkness, the winnower, the entity, the voice, whatever you want to call it, right? Kingus Bingus, that is the darkness. Okay.
Wow.
Part 3. Has Part 3 been proven? I would say yes and. Part 3 was Part 2, I'm on part 2. Part 2 is proven correct, yes. Part 2 says that the ships are just ships, and that there is a race inside. I am saying that it has been proven correct, purely because of the fact that we have the voices and the whispers. Now, I mean, apart from, like, I actually, so I talked about this in my videos, right? About why I believe there was a race. Things like, okay, if the ships are alive, why are there stairs? Why are there doors? Why are there pots? Why are there whatevers? And I think that's actually, that's substantial evidence by itself. I really can't argue, you know. But apart from that, right, we have the voices. Now, I've done my best to decipher some of these voices. I believe they're in English. Well, actually, no, I do think they're English. And it does sound like we're looking at multiple characters with human names. So, yeah, I think there's a race. Second of all, you have the weapon crafting taking place inside of a pyramid ship, and it looks, I mean, come on. If the ship's alive, why is it going to have an ancient weapon crafting station inside of it with like all kinds of supplies around it? No. And it wasn't the Hive that used this. It wasn't the Taken. These were left behind by another people of a different age because it's ancient, you know? You're not going to see it's, and by the way, it's not like Banshee's moved into this pyramid ship and he's helping it craft weapons. The tower and the city, they use glimmer. It's like 3D printing. They use glimmer and they can turn glimmer into anything they want, which is why it's so valuable. That's how they make buildings, it's how they make weapons, it's how they make everything. So they don't actually forge anything. They don't need, so it's ancient. So again, yes, I am telling you now, it's basically confirmed there is a race attached to the pyramid ships. Part 3, are they human? If the voices have been deciphered correctly, I think that, yeah, it does show that they were at one stage human. And again, from my videos, I do think I have enough evidence backing up the fact that they were human. But has Bungie confirmed it? No. So that's why I'm not saying that. And as for part 4, which is where they're OGs or original Guardians, I gotta apologize, guys, because I read this out like 2 days ago or whatever, but I'm just gonna real quick do it again. So basically, this is the lore tab for Cloudstrike, and it doesn't tell us what the location is, if it's on Earth or not, but it says they return to moons devoid. By the way, moons plural, doesn't sound like it's Earth. Second of all, these people seem human, but okay, I'm just gonna read it out. Tell us about the storm herd, Kelikin shouted. She resisted the urge to shush him because he's been helpful earlier, yelling a warning to her when he saw the violet haze rising from the hilltops. It had given her time to call them into the bunker. Eldest of the children, he'd already experienced several voltaic squalls. Okay, gather round. Come on, huddle up so I don't have to shout. A long time ago, the raiders came every winter. They came and took nearly all our stored food, and many in our village starved. But then, spring would come with time for planting, and another summer. In the autumn, we harvested as we are doing now. Each time, we stored even more food, and we hid it more carefully, in case the raiders returned. And they did. When they saw that we had survived the winter, they fought even harder for our food and found nearly all that we had hidden. And so it was for too many years. They always took from us, never giving anything in return. And then, one autumn night, there was a great rumbling. At first, some thought it was thunder, but it was the roar of the raiders' quads in the valleys. They had come early. Maybe they had a new leader. Perhaps they were too impatient for the children. Perhaps they were too impatient for the harvest. We'll never know. Because as the raiders roared through our village, a blue-white bolt of lightning struck among them. Boom. Before anyone's eyes had cleared of spots, a masked stranger, clad in robes and wielding a crook, had killed a score of them. With her weapon, she hooked lightning from the clouds and hurled it, thundering among them. They say there was something more than mortal about her, for those who were there said she could move faster than the eye could track, and her steps took her higher than anyone could leap. But eventually, the raiders surrounded her, and she fell to their guns. Yet there was something else different about her, the storm crow. It flew at her shoulder, and when she fell it would look upon her body, and under its gaze she rose again. This time she pointed her crook to the sky, and clouds moved at her command. Our people fled as thunderbolts stampeded through the village. Our homes were not safe. Only our root cellars, like this bunker, were our refuge. And basically just blah blah blah. So what I'm trying to say with this, right, is that if this individual was human, I mean, first of all, this is not a guardian, because she is using the crook, which is basically like, you know, like when you see a shepherd, the kind of like, you know, the staff with like the curve thing at the top. Yeah. She's using that as a hammer of soul uses his hammers. The thing with the guardian super, and I touched on this actually in one of my Eldritch Theory videos. The thing with Guardian Supers is that they're based off of actual weapons, but they don't actually have the weapons. A golden gun, you know, it's the last word, but you don't actually have the last word technically, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you could be using whatever weapon, but then obviously you have the last word that's fiery. It's an imitation of that. Hammers of Soul, or whatever it's called. You're not actually carrying around bags of hammers behind you, right? It's like how you have the light, and it's how you channel it. You kind of imagine the hammers, and it's whatever. It's like how you use it or whatever. And same thing with I'm pretty sure you're not walking around with the Dawn Blade. The difference with this is that she actually has the crook. She actually has the crook. I mean, same thing with the bow as well. Another thing is, apart from Golden Gun, all the weapons are ancient weapons. Bows are ancient. The hammers are ancient. Swords are ancient. There's nothing else. The staff. That's an ancient weapon. Yeah. Golden Gun is the only thing that's new, and we have seen how it was made. So this person actually using the thing, to me, I'm not saying that this is proving 100%, but I'm just saying it hasn't been proven incorrectly. Okay, that's all I'm going to say for that. 50% correct. We are 50% correct. I'd say if we get the human thing fine, I will be more than happy. But anyway, that's that. Thank you, Mr. Zealot. I hope I answered your question correctly. And by the way, the Eldritch Theory has advanced. There have been more things that have been very interesting, and I might someday make a 2.0 video on that. Okay, question 3. This was an interesting question, and I already...
That was...
Question 4.
Yeah, it's because I had Alex's question as question 0. I don't know. It's whatever.
Why would you do that?
No, because I added it in last, and I just put it on the top and just put a 0. I wasn't bothered changing all the other numbers.
Alright.
Question 4. What happens when the winnower fails? Does that being inherit the title? Also, do you think Mara is an agent of the dark? Several small things stand out to me. Her and Eris are both sort of corrupt. Drifter 2, sort of a dark vanguard. Mara has ontological abilities, and I doubt Eris just hid for years. The catabasist ghost took a short time to seek salvation. This is from Daniel Smith. So it's a multi-parted question.
Should I go ahead with my long-winded answer
just before, I'm just going to again lay out the question. So, what happens when the winnower fails? and are Mara, Eris, and
I remember.
yeah,
this
are
one.
Mara, Eris, and Drifter double agents working for the Darkness? So that's the 2 questions there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and make this shorter than the last time I answered this question. Again, I'm gonna point out the fact that you say when the winner fails, the winner is never lost, so we can't assume that he's going to fail. And in my theory, I actually believe that he's not going to lose, but I also don't think he's going to win. So when you say when the winner fails, we don't know that. And like I said, he's never lost before. He actually won the collapse. So if he fails, honestly, I'm not really too sure. And the reason why I'm not really too sure how to answer that part of the question is because my personal theory is he doesn't lose or win. So that aspect of the question, I'm not really too sure how to answer. I don't see the winner as someone who can lose, but I also don't see him as someone who can always win his fights, you know? With Morozov and what's his name, Drifter, and Eris Morn, that's sort of where my question that's where the question sort of gets more sort of interesting, because you have 3 major characters, and in my personal opinion, I actually think that Drifter is one of the most amazing characters in terms of character design and lore. Like he's just amazing, and I'll get into why in a second. But first, I want to start with Eris Morn. Eris Morn is the most edgiest one of them all. And out of all 3 of them, she is probably the one who is most likely to be working with the Darkness. Now that isn't me necessarily saying that she is. I actually believe that she isn't. And if you look at the Dark Future lore book, she, out of all of the names in question that you've referenced, she is the only one that actually turns bad and, you know, commands the Hive. Which obviously, you know, I'm not actually surprised at that, to be honest with you, because of how obsessed she is with the Hive anyway. So out of all of them, Eris Morn is probably the one that we can suspect, because she is sort of a rogue. You know, she does her own thing. She doesn't really answer to the Vanguard. She doesn't like when the Vanguard are checking up on her. She only really communicates with Ikora, and even then, the Vanguard don't fully know what she's doing. But Ikora always says that she trusts Eris Morn. So does that mean that we should trust Eris Morn as well? I'm not too sure. I just think that she's the edgiest one, and she's the one that I think would be most likely to be working with the Darkness. But honestly, I'm not too sure. I don't think she is. I don't think she is. In terms of Morozov is royalty. And the reason why I say that specifically is because she has that sort of moral code whereby she stands by her people 100% of the time. I truly do not believe that she would make a decision in her... Right, she's noble. I don't think she's going to make a decision that would ever go against her people, and her siding with the Darkness or even working with them would be doing exactly that. You know, ever since we met Morozov back in Destiny 1, she is always talking about her people. She is always talking about how loyal she is to them and how she's always going to put them first. And this season that we're playing right now is another really good example of that. And again, I'm going to say what I said in the last time I answered this question, which was we literally have Savathun crystallized, and she's literally right next to us. We can go and see her whenever we want. And yet our main objective is rescuing the Techians. Morozov is always putting her people first, and that will always be her priority, and I truly just do not believe that she will ever go against them by siding with the Darkness. So yeah, I mean, is she for the Darkness? Is she for the light? I don't think she's for any of them. I think she has her own moral state. I think she has her own moral high ground, and she sticks by her own moral code, which again is her people. So no, I don't think she's working with the Darkness at all. Drifter. Now, Drifter is one of my favorite characters, like I said. I do not believe he is working with the Darkness, purely because of the Season of the Drifter season, whereby he is literally being haunted by all of these dreams, and, you know, he openly admits, and we see from the lore tabs, that he is genuinely afraid of the Darkness. He's scared of the Black Fleet, and it's something that genuinely terrifies him. And I don't think that he would join them. Drifter doesn't like to. He doesn't like to be controlled. He doesn't like to be told what to do. He doesn't even like to be. He doesn't like to be called a guardian. Does he have a ghost? Yes. Have you ever saw it? No. His ghost is made from the parts of dead ghosts from his fire team when they got trapped on an ice planet, which was completely surrounded in darkness entities. You know, trapped in the cages. You know, his ghost is the only ghost in Destiny lore that has a red eye because of how heavily he modified it, whilst having all of this darkness energy surrounding the ghost as he was modifying it, which is how I believe he got stasis. So yeah, I believe Drifter is definitely not working with the darkness. He has his own agenda. He doesn't like to be considered a guardian. He doesn't even like to be considered a light bearer. If you look at his character model, and this is where you really have to sort of pay attention to detail. His character model has every item that our classes have. So he has the Titan mark. He's got the huge shoulder pads. He's got the hunter sort of hoodie, but it's sort of strapped down, so he hasn't got it fully up. He's got the warlock cloak, and the reason why he's representing all of these three things that all of our classes have is because that's his way of saying that he doesn't identify as any of these things because he wants to be his own person. So he's not one to follow orders. He likes to live life by his own rules, and I truly do not believe that he is, working with, the darkness. I think he's willing to do whatever it takes to survive, which is why he is wielding stasis. But yeah, I just truly refuse to believe that he's working with them. I mean, he's scared of them. He's literally having nightmares about them. He just wouldn't do that. So that's my answer.
What do you think, Ewan?
Honestly, I agree. Just remind me again the first part of that question.
What will happen when the Winnower fails?
Yeah, so I'm on kind of the same page with Brad in that, like, if the Winnower fails. The way I see it, it's like the Winnower cannot really fail. Because like the Winnower is all about sort of ending what needs to be ended. The Winnower should not fail. It cannot really fail. It's needed to succeed, I think. But if the Winnower were to fail, let's play with that idea. I would suspect that maybe someone like Eris Morn could be coerced, because she is, as Brad says, is probably the closest towards the line between light and dark, I guess you could say. Eris Morn would be most likely, I guess, coerced. I mean, could she take the mantle? I don't know. That would be something bizarre, I think. But of all the characters that we know, I don't see any other potential characters that could be, spies for the Winnower or something like that. I don't see anything. I don't see any other characters that could be other than Eris Morn. But even still, I don't know if Eris Morn. You know what? Maybe something could go wrong with Eris Morn.
But you're saying in the future, you don't think now she is currently?
No, now she's not currently. But maybe in the future, she could be coerced. Something could take control of her. Something, because she's a woman who's gone through a lot of trauma. She's mentally very, very weak.
True.
Well, I wouldn't say weak. So I wouldn't say she's weak, but definitely troubled.
Definitely troubled. And probably easily sort of manipulated if maybe she could easily be manipulated by Sabathun.
Well, Eris Morn is driven by knowledge, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, fair enough. So I don't know. I think with her state of mind and everything that she's been through, she's definitely someone to keep an eye on, I guess. Someone to keep in your peripheral vision.
I agree.
Anybody else, no, I wouldn't be too worried. Not Marisol. I think Marisol, you know, like she is a queen, you know, and then we look at we look at her sort of involvement. I know it's not the winner, but like with Savathun, and you know, like she's kind of she would see the darkness, I think, definitely as a threat to her own personal title, and who she is. I don't think she's anyone to worry about. Yeah, that's my opinion on that.
So my answer is actually really, really easy and just quick because it's I don't really have much to say about it. So I think the winner will fail personally, and not only that, but I personally believe that in order for the universe to not be utterly screwed, both the winnower and the gardener have to die, be destroyed, because the only thing that has kept this universe kind of at balance is the fact that the two of them have been unable to win. And
the only thing that's kept balance is the fact that there is life and there's death.
No, but the thing is, I don't know, but and I think I said this before, the winnower and the gardener don't have to exist for things to live and die, purely because there are other universes that exist without the two of them. So I personally do believe that if the winnower dies and the gardener lives, we're all going to suffer in the end, and if the gardener dies and the winnower wins, then we're all just going to die. That's just the way it is.
Alright.
So that's...
So there can't be, like, so sorry, you're saying that there cannot be a universe where only one survives.
Because, okay, if I had to pick one, right, I would pick the gardener winning, obviously, because if the gardener wins, then nothing's going to ever die. And it's going to be a permanent golden age.
I disagree with that.
No, if the gardener wins, but we know this because the 9 showed what will happen to Drifter. The 9 showed a universe where the darkness wins, and there's just only darkness, because the only thing that exists then is the winnower, because nothing else can be strong forever except for the winnower. And there was blinding light with the gardener, and everything was rotting and decaying, but it just couldn't die because the gardener.
But we don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's true.
But it makes sense. It makes sense.
It makes, yeah. I mean, you're right when you say it makes sense, but we don't know if that's true.
But okay, fine. We haven't seen it happen yet, but it literally ties in. We know for a fact that if the gardener had it her way, everyone would get a golden age, because that's what she'd been doing. She's been doing up until this point, is giving people golden ages. And not only that, but keep in mind, the speaker said that human lifespan tripled, which is a clear sign that the gardener or the traveler wanted to prevent people from dying. That is an example of the gardener or the traveler interfering with people dying. Just want to point that out, right? So anyway, so that's my take on that, right? For the characters, it's really quick and easy. Eris, I don't care. If she goes bad and she joins the hive, we're just gonna shoot her in the head. Bye-bye. It's fine. I don't see her as that being significant a threat. It's fine. And by the way, the only reason she was allowed to become such a big threat in the dark future is because our characters also kind of fell to darkness or whatever. We're not going to do that in this, so if she goes bad, it is kaboom. Drifter, no. Brad summed it up very well. He is very much against... I'd say, honestly, the extent of the Drifter betraying us is getting on a boat or a ship and just flying off to save himself. Which he's already said.
Right, exactly.
He's even said, he
selfish,
has he's got like a safety arc kind of thing, and he'll save a seat for us, whatever. So that's the extent of it, right? He's not gonna work for. He doesn't like being told what to do anyway, so he's not gonna work for anyone.
No.
So that's Drifter.
He doesn't have a greater good mantra, yeah.
Not really.
He is such a good character.
So that's the Drifter, right? And then finally the Queen. Again, it's been very detailed, explained. She cares about her people above everything else, and obviously she understands that if the winner wins, it's game over. So she's obviously, so it's really like, I don't see any of them, and the only one that could possibly turn is Eris, but again, I don't even see her as a threat. And do I think she's currently? There's only one possibility. of Eris. And again, by the way, I'm not saying she is, but I'm just saying there's only one possibility. There's only one thing, and it's that cutscene where she's in the pyramid ship and she touches the statue and then she smiles. She could potentially be working with them, the pyramids, potentially. Like, I mean, I'm not saying she is, but you never know. But I don't think so. But that's the only.
Well,
inkling.
again,
Inkling.
it's like I said to Ewan. She's driven by knowledge. You know, she's obsessed with the Hive. She knows everything about the Hive. She's studied the Hive ever since what happened to her in the pit. You know, and the only reason why she entered the pyramid ship is because it piqued her curiosity to find out, to know, to understand, to learn. You know, you can just tell by the way she reaches her hand
that
out
is
to touch
definitely
the
definitely something that the pyramid ships would try and manipulate and use against her.
100%.
But
and keep in
what
mind,
is
the
it that
pyramid
they
ships.
say? Curiosity killed the cat.
The pyramid ships are, you know, the amount of manipulation that the pyramid ships are even giving to us as guardians is immense.
Yeah.
Stasis is a really, really good
They
example.
used Kate
because
against
gave
us.
the
They
power.
used the city falling to Gaul against us.
Right,
you know?
but keep in mind, like these pyramid ships, they keep on giving to us. They gave us an ancient power, and now in beyond,
They gave us
sorry,
divinity,
not in Beyond,
technically.
like, they gave us divinity. They gave us what's that trace rifle called? What's it called? Ruinous Effigy. They
Yeah,
gave us
Ruinous
Ruinous
Effigy, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave us Salvation's Grip.
Did they make it, though?
Well, I mean, it willed stasis. Which
Well,
is
Ager's
darkness.
Scepter wielded stasis, but that didn't come from them. I don't even know why that is stasis to begin with, but...
I mean, actually, yeah, that's continuity. I actually believe there, but that's a separate conversation. One thing that we have to look forward to in Witch Queen is weapon crafting. It's on a pyramid ship. That's a facility that they are giving us. They are giving us the.
I mean,
ability
technically
to
we're
go to a pyramid ship.
we're taking, because it's run down. I'm assuming we're gonna break into the ship.
I mean, we don't know that, and I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
I could be right, but just going by the pattern that we're used to with the pyramid ships, they keep on giving us things to enhance our
I
abilities.
mean, no, I agree. So no, I don't think the three of them. No, I don't think so. Anything else you want to add to that,
Drifter's amazing.
Yeah, he
I
is.
just think Drifter's
We were
amazing.
talking about him in the
Have you
Discord today.
noticed, like, we never have ever saw Drifter use a light ability. Like, he's a light bearer, right? And he's never used a light ability.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only time we ever... I mean, not even in the written lore has he used a light ability. We just know that he is a light
Yeah.
bearer. But he chooses to use stasis. Like, he definitely has that sort of edgy side to him. But, you know, in a way, the Drifter is threatened by us as well. You know, we hear that in his dialogue when he says, you know, remind me never to piss you guys off, you know? He loves the fact that we are on his side, and we see that in Forsaken when he asks us to choose between him or the Vanguard. You know, he wants us as an ally, and he likes us.
Well, depending on
I
which
just think
side
he's
you choose, if you choose Vanguard or him.
Yeah, I obviously sided
Yeah.
with Drifter. I think he's a phenomenally written character.
The next question is from Felix Racher, and he asks, do you think getting rid of Riven's curse on the Dreaming City will be possible this season? And if yes, what must happen? I'm going to start it off. I'm going to say yes, because this is really the season to do it. I can't think of another time to do it. And I think what must happen? So it's a bit weird because obviously we know that the Dreaming City curse was kind of a Vex simulation run by Courier, but we seemingly destroyed Courier last season, so I don't know. Obviously another thing as well is we have yet to permanently kill Dulan Karu, who is Savathun's daughter, so maybe that could be tied to it. And also, Savathun still has a wish to get from Riven. That could be again tied to it. We don't know. So those are three different things. We have the tying up loose ends with Courier, potentially. We have permanently killing Dulan Karu. And we have Savathun's thingamajiggy. No. Also, you have the 15th wish as well, whatever that is. That could be Savathun's wish. But it might be the same.
I actually thought about something by you saying that.
What?
Imagine that is how Savathun gets the power of the light.
Yeah.
That's her wish.
Yeah. Most likely, yeah. It's like, and I think I said this 2 days ago, where the wish is like, she gets the light, but the consequence is she dies. But then she gets the light, so then she comes back to life anyway. So
Right, exactly. It's like a loophole.
yeah, exactly. That's my
That would
yeah.
be. That does make sense. So my answer is basically the exact same as Ben's. I believe that he is 100% correct. We kill Savathun at the end of this season. We kill her worm. I believe killing her breaks the curse on the Dreaming City. And I believe that her final wish is to get some form of light power.
Oh, if that's the case, then I wonder, like, how has no one else ever made that wish?
I mean, how easy is it to make a wish in terms of lore, Ben? Can someone just quite literally go up to a Ahamkara and say, "I wish for this"? Is it literally as simple as that?
Yeah, but here's another thing, right? It's not that simple because we do know that she's going to have ghosts of some kind. Oh no, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's actually so clever. She is going to die, right? But then that's going to send her to her throne world.
But we see what happened. We see what happened to her. But okay,
yeah,
so
no. What I'm saying, right, is she's going to get sent to her throne world, and there she's going to get her ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, something could happen. I mean, people might hear me say this and go, "Well, we obviously don't kill her because she's in Witch Queen." But what you need to understand is,
oh no, she has to die.
Character model, right? She has to die. Savathun's character model is completely different now to what it is in Witch Queen. If you look at the early concept art of Zivu-Arath, Oryx, and Savathun, you know, before they had their current names, you know, they went by old names back then in this piece of concept art that I'm thinking about. The character model of Savathun within that concept art is the exact same character model that we somewhat have as she's crystallized in, you know, the Dreaming City, which is where the portal takes you from the helm. So going by that, and also going by the cinematic trailer that we saw, where you see her head going underneath the water.
Yeah.
You know, we can clearly and factually say that she looks different, and now she's like this moth-looking creature, which I think looks amazing, by the way. I think her character looks amazing. But the whole point of this season is to free the Techians, to get the worm out of Savathun. You know, that's the deal that she made with Morosov. We're not just going to take this worm, kill the worm, and let Savathun go. That's not going to happen. We're going to kill her in some way, and her wish is the light. You know, she gets that power and she comes back because of that reason.
What do you think, Ewan?
Sorry, just to reiterate the question.
Do you think getting the curse, so like the 3-week loop that the Dreaming City's in?
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's possible to get rid of that this season? And if what has to happen?
I agree with what you say in that, like, if it were to happen, it has to be this season. There's no way that, like, they would go and leave the Dreaming City after the season and then come back to it in like 4 or 5 seasons time. There's no need. Like, every season has always dealt with like a planet, and it's sort of
it resolves
what needs to be done.
It resolves the kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the time for the Dreaming City, where I think either we do fix the curse, yes, or we try to fix the curse and we find out that we can't.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a chance that we can't get rid of the curse. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what the conditions are that need. That is the question. Like, what are the conditions? I don't know enough personally about like the lore behind the curse and what would need to be done. Yeah, honestly, like, if it's done through an Ahamkara wish, then I don't know. I feel like it probably wouldn't be easy to undo. But I guess, like, at the end of the day, we're guardians. We can do anything we want if we just tighten punch it.
Tighten punch it, yes.
It's the power of friendship.
Thunder straight into it. Don't
With
ever
the
say that again.
Of friendship and bungo, we can do it, guys.
You know what? If Destiny was real life, I would honestly be a rogue guardian. I wouldn't even want to be called a guardian, actually.
No, I would have actually, if it was me, if I actually was a guardian, I actually would have left with the factions. I would have.
See, here's the thing, right? I always see you as this leader, right? You're sort of the leader, the representative, the one who speaks reason, the one who everyone goes to find resolution and understanding.
Cheers.
That's what I see you as a character.
Cheers.
Not me though.
No.
Not me. I'm hinting to our little story that
Yeah, shoot first, think later.
you're working on there. But yeah, anyway, did we wrap up that question?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm gonna take 3 questions and I'm gonna combine them into one because they're big. They're very similar. So this comes from
Okay.
This comes from. Well, actually, it's gonna be 4 questions. Actually, this is from Rio Rio,
Oh, wow.
Siva 12, Diego OTF, and no. It's gonna be 3. Yeah. So
You're
Rio
gonna say
Rio,
something and it's gonna trigger
Siva
me.
12, and Diego OTF. So, and I apologize, guys. I don't read out exactly what the question was, but like it is touching on this thingy, and it's also to save time because we are at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Basically, with the introduction of the
Don't you dare.
Hive Guardians.
I hate my life and I hate you.
With the introduction of the Hive Lightbearers.
Thank you. If anyone says Hive Guardians,
I feel your pain. With the introduction of these, this new faction, basically these 3 people have asked, does this open the door for other races getting the light? And also, basically, could we see the potential of races coming to the last city and allying together? So Mithrax in the lore has said that he would be open to seeing an alliance between the Fallen, the Cabal, and even the Hive. Could you see such an alliance happening? And
I feel sick already.
Baby Hive.
Do you think
this genuinely bothers
and
me.
here's and I don't really know how to answer Siva 12's question because he refers to a lore book, but it basically just kind of like it predicts what is kind of already happened, what's going to happen. But what I will say is, because basically his question talks about how Savathun wanting to make a new hive. Do you think the hive can be redeemed? So the 3 questions are: will we see more races get the light? Will they ally together in the city? And can the hive be redeemed?
Nope. No. Okay, so the reason why I say no to all 3 of those things, in terms of gameplay mechanics, we have an entire expansion coming out in February about an enemy race wielding the power of the light. Now, we've never ever experienced this before. This is new, this is fresh, and this is genuinely something for us to be worried about because we are aware of the light, we are aware of how strong it is, and now it's being used against us. That as a story, I think is absolutely amazing. Now, if they do that again in a second expansion, that's going to be very, very bad.
Not if they're allied with us.
Because at that point, it's going to be something that we have already experienced. Now, moving on from that, I genuinely don't... I mean, is it possible for other enemy races to get the light? Sure. Does it make sense in terms of story? No, because we've already experienced it. We've already got it, and we're going to be experiencing it next year. I don't want to keep on, the Hive next year wielding the light. Great. I can't wait for that. I'm genuinely excited for that. An expansion comes out. The Cabal wielding the light is like, wait, what? We just had that. I want something new. I want something original now. So we're not going to see that. I don't think that's going to happen. In terms of the Hive becoming allies, that shouldn't even be a question, if I'm being completely honest with you. If you want Erismorn to turn bad, then yes, let's partner with the Hive, because she's going to absolutely love us doing that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So many Guardians have died from the Hive. So many Guardians have experienced so much pain with their light being ripped from their bodies because of the Hive. Erismorn literally witnessed her own fire team go through the utmost pain and struggle because of the Hive. And we're just going to let them into the last city and forgive them for all of these things? Literally doesn't make sense. Also, do you really believe that
it's
the Hive
funny
would
you
want
say
a partner?
that when the Fallen have literally eaten babies.
I mean, true.
But I agree with you. But go on, yeah.
But here's the thing. The reason why my point still stands is because we are literally murdering the Hive family tree with every season, with every expansion that comes out, Do you really think the Hive is going to want to be friends with us when we're literally just murdering their family?
We killed all the Fallen kills.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well,
but
Saint is already
but
made his
the reason why I think the House of Light with the Fallen and the Hive are two completely separate things. Like you're making counter arguments, but the reason why I'm saying that they're completely invalid is because the Fallen actually have personality. You know, you
Oh, yeah, I
see
agree.
them
The
Yeah.
Fallen are a more intelligent race.
you know, you see them talking, you see them have families, you see them
Yeah.
holding babies. You know, they genuinely look like a peaceful civilization for the most part.
We relate to them more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
relate to that aspect, you
Definitely.
know. I'm not gonna see a thrall cradling a baby Fallen in his hand.
No.
I'm not gonna see a baby Fallen growing up to his teenager ages and jumping around and dancing around on a shrieker. That's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense. The thrall are savages. If the thrall see you, they're gonna run at you and rip you to shreds because they have no personality and all they want is to murder you. That is not going to happen. I'm sorry to disappoint you. We are not going to become friends with a cursed thrall.
Ewan, what do you think?
Okay,
Oh, sorry. I thought you
that's
were
the
done.
answer to
Sorry.
my question.
Mm.
No, I'm
Yeah,
done.
okay.
I'm just saying that's the answer
Yeah.
to my question.
Ewan, do you think so? Again, do you think we could see other races, either allied or enemies, get the light? Could you see multiple races with the light allying together and joining with us? And then, do you think the Hive can be redeemed?
Like, yeah, I think the whole time, you know, it's very easy to for the Destiny story right now to incorporate other races taking the light. 100%, definitely, it's on the table. I mean, that's my kind of prediction for Lightfall. As I said before, like with Lightfall, you know, the light will fall, but it won't fall completely. It will fall, I think, for us, but it will rise in another race. I think the Traveler will provide the light for. It will take away our light, maybe, and it will give its golden age to another race. It'll move on. It'll move on from.
They'll take away our light.
Yeah, it might actually give up on humanity.
Oh,
It
wow.
might think that humanity will not be enough
That's
to
a
defend itself.
That's a big thing to say because you're basically saying that in Lightfall they're removing light subclasses.
I mean,
Because if
it
they
could be
take away
part
the
of the
light, you
story.
won't be able to use your Dawnblade anymore.
I mean, yeah, you'd have continuity issues there. I don't know. Maybe they'll find. I mean, look, with Destiny, Bungie have always had little continuity issues. Yeah, it would be a big one, but I mean, it could maybe work. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Story-wise, it could work. But yeah, honestly, I mean, like, look, it's in the name of the DLC, Lightfall.
I mean, that could be in reference to the Traveler losing, though.
It could be in reference to the Traveler losing.
Maybe.
That is
We
true.
don't know. I've not played it, but I don't know.
Have you not? But
I'm
yeah.
already there.
In terms of whether and sorry, I think my mic got it there. We could see a lot of other races banding together in like some sort of final battle. Like I think of the name, you know, the Last City, like that could be a sort of teaser to the fact that it literally is not just the last city of Earth, but like the last city of the solar system. It could be a final stand point. That's what I project. I project a final stand point between light and dark. I see races all coming to the light side, all taking the light in a last ditch effort against the darkness, and the winner. That's my sort of
That's a really
my take.
good. I actually agree with the last part you said because we obviously have allies with the Fallen right now because of the House of Light. We have somewhat allies
Keitel and
with
her army.
Keitel and her cabal.
And then
But again, these are all races that have personality.
exactly.
The Vex don't have personality. They're a construct of robots that are the most intelligent thing, but all they care about is themselves. You know, they want a future which doesn't have humanity and only has them. You know, so it's impossible for us to ally with them. I've already said why it's impossible for us to ally with the Thrall, and that leaves the Cabal, which we have allies with somewhat, and the Fallen, which we have allies with somewhat.
Yeah, like I'm sorry to all the Martin Luther Kingers out there who see all these races come together. It's not going to happen. It won't. Some of them, yes, but not all of them.
You've got your four-armed crabs and you've got your space rhinos, and that's what we need.
Exactly. Yeah.
I actually like the Fallen as well. I think they're great.
The Fallen are Fallen babies. I like the
Right.
babies. We all love the babies.
Yeah, well,
But yeah.
Bungie needed some extra cash, and the Fallen Babies was a really good selling point,
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
especially with the plushies.
I will buy the anniversary alone if it just means that we get
The
to
Baby
see more
Fallen
Fallen
plushies
babies.
is what's funding Lightfall right now,
Absolutely. But,
because everyone found out that
No,
you could
it's
buy this entire
all
season with Bright Dust.
going to that mobile game.
Yeah. Anyway, Ben, what's your answer?
So I believe that
That's a great answer.
No, I'm just thinking. So obviously, the Hive have the light, but another thing as well is that it's not it's a gimmick. It's either gonna be through no. They're gonna get it right either through a wish or through Savathun doing Throne World magic crap. It's not like the Traveler gave them the light. It's not actually, so for the other races to get it, it's only going to be by the Traveler giving it to them. And do I see the Traveler giving the light to the Fallen of the Cabal? No, I don't. Now, would I like to see the Cabal get the light? I actually would. I think the Cabal are really cool, and we actually are allied with the majority of the Cabal because the Empire is completely gone because of Zevo Wrath now. So what we see in Keitel is actually the official Cabal Empire. So we are actually allied with the Empire. And the Cabal are pretty cool. They got like that whole warrior mentality going on, all honorable and stuff like that.
Very noble, yeah.
Aito is a good character as well.
Yeah, she is. So like, I mean, I'd like to see the Cabal have the light, but I don't think it's gonna happen because I don't think the Traveler would give the light to them. So no, I don't see it happening. Sure. And then the idea of the Hive joining with the Fallen on in the Botsa ruins in the city, no. And this leads to, can the Hive be redeemed? Out of every single race, I touched on the atrocities that the Fallen have done. The Hive have been genociding and erasing societies and cultures for millions of years. There is so much collective blood on their hands. There is no forgiveness. There is no redemption. I'm sorry, but if you're one of those people that are like, oh, we should all forgive each other and we should all be friends because we're just all creatures. No. For the sake of a logical world that isn't just run off of emotion and feeling good, that cannot happen.
I agree with that.
So no.
Yeah, I agree.
So no, I mean, I think again, like with Brad, I would say no to all three, although I would like to see the Fallen or the Cabal get the light, but I just don't see it happening. And I do think Hive, the only reason the Hive have it is it's because of a gimmick. She cheated, she tricked something, I don't know.
She's definitely done something. Yeah. And just to back that up even more, when Gold tried to take the Hive, when Gold tried to take the light, the Traveler fought back.
Exactly. So it's not like the Fallen are going to sneak into the Traveler and steal it or anything. Like, it's like, no.
Oh yeah, I mean, another thing just to back up exactly what you're saying. Before humanity had the Traveler, the Fallen had the Traveler, and they weren't given the light then either.
Exactly.
So not only did they have the Traveler, they didn't get it. The Cabal tried to get it, and the Traveler reacted in a negative way. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. We're at an hour and 32 minutes, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more brief. Next.
They're good questions. So
they really are good questions. And it's literally because of hard drive space. It's the only reason why I'm like, yeah. So anyway, next question comes from, now it's similar, but it's different. This is from CJ Opticon 237. Can you discuss the lore ramifications on how the Hive Guardians would affect the Battle of Light and Dark?
Oh my god.
I'm just curious on if... Let me finish. I'm just curious on if a race of Dark can wield the light. What does it mean in the universe as a whole? I actually want to take this first real quick. I really do, because I think it's important.
It's fine. I was just reacting at the Hive Guardian shit again.
So, here's the thing, and this is why I'm giving its own kind of segment. The Hive, the only reason the Hive have the light is because of a gimmick. Again, like I said, the Traveler didn't give it to them. So if we're talking about a race, and the thing with this question, right, it says, I'm just curious on if a race of dark can wield the light. What does it mean in the universe as a whole? So this isn't just like any race. This doesn't mean like, oh, what happens if the Fallen get it? This is what happens if an enemy race gets the light. Now we know from Gaul that if an enemy race steals the light or forcefully takes the light, the Traveler it'll be within the Traveler's rights to react and destroy them, which it can obviously do so. So so here we have a checklist, right, of things that have to happen for this situation to occur. Number 1, the Traveler has to give that race the light. Now here's the thing, the Traveler has given Golden Ages to so many races across the systems and the galaxies, whatever, blah 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 blah. Yet, as far as we know, we're the only ones that have been given the light. So what we do know is that whenever the Traveler touches a society or a culture or a race, it gives a Golden Age. So, if the Traveler gave the light to a race, they also gave them a Golden Age, which means their technological capabilities are through the roof. Third, they're an enemy race, which means that something had to happen between them and the Gardener, which was bad. So, that means that they have motivations for being enemies. And I'm just gonna read this out again because
Oh my god.
Gardener gave humanity Golden Age thousands of years ago. They worshipped her as a god, which is why there are statues of her in the ships. She made guardians, powerful light bearers that may or may not have needed ghosts. They were worshipped as gods as well by the normal humans. So that's the examples of the Egyptians and the ancient Greek gods. Something made her leave them, possibly Nezarec, who knows. They used their Golden Age tech to make the pyramid ships and chase her. They found the Winnower and so serve him while also pursuing the Gardener for their own goal. Guardian subclass is potentially based off of 3 of those original gods, or those mythological gods. So yeah, apart from the possibility of the pyramid ships being the exact example that Mr. Opticon has given us, I don't see any other race like that existing, because again, it's a pre-checklist. The Traveler must have given the light to that race to begin with. And the reason why I'm talking about a Golden Age and stuff like that is because he's asking, how does it affect the big picture stuff? And yeah, I mean, if the pyramid ships, which do fit all those checklist things, are that, we've seen they really do affect the big game. They nuked 4 planets. They damaged the Traveler even if they didn't beat it. Yeah, pretty big. But that's my thoughts. Apart from them potentially being that example, there is no other possibility. So that's just that. So again, the question for you guys is, can an enemy race, apart from the Hive, get the light? And how will that affect the big picture? Between the Winnower and the Gardener, that fight.
I mean, can another race get the light?
An enemy race specifically, that are against us.
An enemy? No, I don't believe they can. And the reason why is because, the ghosts were given to us so that we can wield this power of the light.
That's again true. There's a limited amount of ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. And, we got this power so we can defend the last city, so we can defend humanity, so that we can, by definition, be called guardians. So please stop saying that the Hive are guardians. I really need that is genuinely. I just want to say that again. People are saying Hive guardians. It doesn't make sense. They are Hive light bearers. The definition of a guardian in Destiny written lore is to defend the last city, to defend humanity. And I can tell you right now, these Hive that are wielding blade barrages are not going to be coming to the last city and defending humanity. So they are Hive light bearers. I don't know why we're saying Hive guardians, but one thing that I touched upon last time I answered this question was the fact that the only reason why Savathun has the power of the light is not to fight with us, not to help the darkness, not to be part of the light and darkness fight. She's literally just using it as a tool because she wants us dead.
That's exactly it.
It's another thing that she can use to end us, to attack us, and to fight back. She doesn't want to be involved in the fight between light and dark. She's just using whatever she can so that she can get us gone.
Yep.
So I genuinely don't believe that itself is going to have an impact on the light and darkness thing. And do I believe that an enemy race could wield something that the Traveler gave us to literally protect humanity? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Like, we literally had, like, look at the beginning of Destiny 2, we had a whole campaign to answer that question, the Red War campaign. And look what happened to Gaul. He forcefully tried to extract the light. The Traveler was like, hey, no, mate, you didn't ask for my permission. I didn't give you consent. You gotta ask for my consent first, mate, before you do that. And he got absolutely blasted. So, no, I don't think so.
I mean, if anything, we're actually quite lucky because Go is the reason why the pyramids are on the way. If you think about it.
Oh my god.
Yes, thank you, Go, for giving us future content and future expansions.
Thanks,
That was
Gaul,
just
for making that €60 so much more worth
Little
it.
side joke there. If you hadn't
Yeah.
uploaded the Traveler, the pyramid ships would still be waiting right now.
Oh my god.
But yeah, sorry, I just made a
No,
little
no.
joke at the end there.
We'd be replaying the Red War like 50 times.
All right.
So is that question done? Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
So
Hive light bearers. Get it into your heads, people. Oh my god.
Igneous Hammer asks, "Do you believe we?" Okay. I don't think we need to answer this. I don't think we need to answer this, right? So I'm just gonna give the general consensus. We've already touched on this. So, do you believe?
What
do
is
you
it?
believe that we will fight Savathûn Swarm at any point? The collective answer, I believe, is no. We're gonna just. It's like we know for a fact that it's contained, and that the Technians are most likely going to be the ones to destroy it, and the Queen.
Yeah.
So like
it's gonna be a cutscene at the end.
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
season.
And again, I'm just kind of briefly skimming that because we're at an hour 40, and my hard drive's crying.
That's fine. That's fine.
Then this leaves us with the big boy question, which is
No. Is this your question?
no.
Okay, don't give me your question.
This is so. There's two questions that kind of touch on this. This is from Zodo, and we played against him in trials. Actually, that was a tough game.
And we won.
It was we basically won. We did, yeah, we technically won. Yeah.
Well, we did win, but yeah.
No, we didn't.
We basically
We
won.
basically we did. We did. No, we did. Zodo. Ugh.
Good game.
So this is from Zodo, and it's also from. I actually forgot to put the name down. I don't know who it is. So if you see that, let me know. Basically, what happens after Final Shape?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Because of Ben's hard drive space, I'm going to make this very quick and simple. I have a huge thing that I want to say about this question, but I'm not going to. I believe that we're going to be focusing around the 9 after the final shape. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to keep this brief, is because the amount of knowledge that we have on the 9 is extremely little. And the one thing that we do know about the 9 is that they are trying to seek out forms. You know, they're trying to have a physical form. You know, they went to the Ahamkaras to wish it didn't work. And I feel like after the final shape, that could be sort of a plot point that we're at. You know, you have to understand the Light and Darkness saga is a plot story that's been going on for 10 years now. It's the only plot story that's been going on for 10 years now. And the only thing that we really know little about that's sort of been going on behind the scenes is the 9. So I feel like maybe that could be something. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like the only thing they can really sort of justify with the amount of time that we've had from the start of Destiny to now, I think it would be the 9. But again, I have so much more I want to say about that. I just can't because of time. The 9. I'm not going to leave it at the 9.
In my opinion, I do think the 9, because I feel like the 9, it's such a big, complex thing that they don't have time. And the thing is, they're already working with really complex things, like, for example, the pyramid ships, the winnower, all that. I don't think they have time to add in the 9, and if they did, they would just butcher that. So I think the 9 should be left until after Final Shape, and at the same time, I actually think the Vex will come after the Final Shape as well. I think there'll be a thing, and you know, I've been talking to the guys in the Discord. We've been theorizing about potentially a different race that might be involved, stuff like that. But honestly, I don't know, because my biggest issue with this question and with this thing in general is that the Destiny was designed from the very beginning to be a 10-year game with a 10-year story, which means, right, that at the start they didn't plan for going past this Light and Dark saga. So let's be honest here, Bungie, we're going to be at the point where Bungie's just making stuff up as they go along because they want to keep making money. That's really what it is. So, I mean, we can guess, but honestly, I don't know. The one thing I will say is that we will have new enemy races. We have to. Because it doesn't matter if the story's about the 9. Then there's going to have to be a 9 enemy race or something. There's going to have to be a Vex. We have the Vex already, but, like, you're going to have to populate.
Yeah.
The thing, another thing with this 10-year story is that the enemy races of the 10-year story have all been broken. The Hive are about to be completely broken. The Fallen were broken. The Cabal were broken.
We just destroyed the Vex network.
No, we didn't. What?
Well, we destroyed Courier.
Yeah, but that's not like, I mean, no, the Vex don't really give a crap. They're like, good. He was taken anyway. Get rid of it. Bye-bye.
Get rid of it.
Delete it.
He was the back of the system.
Yeah. So, yeah, like it's... But, like, yeah, so we're going to have to get a lot more enemy races. So, I don't know. But it is what it is.
It will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, keep in mind the 9 is, you have the 4 and the 5.
Exactly. But like I think the key thing really is, right, when you start making expansions, what are the enemies that we're going to be fighting? Because I swear, if we're in year 12 of Destiny 2 and we're still fighting the Red Legion,
oh my god.
you know what I'm saying? Like, nah. So there's
yeah, but you can kind of say that now, and we've had Destiny. We've had playable Destiny for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
And it's always been Vex, Cabal, Fallen, Hive.
Yeah, I agree.
Forsaken is the only time we had a new enemy race introduced, and that was basically just an updated version of the Fallen.
Yeah. So that's my take on it. Ewan, what do you think?
I think it's a very sort of imaginative question.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because like we have literally nothing to go on. Like, what could happen after the final shape? God, I don't know.
Because we don't even know what happens in final shape.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
It's a long way from now,
I never really thought about what would happen after. Like, to me, what would happen after is obviously a new saga. But like in terms of like the Destiny universe, I don't see much happening at all.
It is a difficult question to answer. We didn't even know about a final shape being a thing until like a couple weeks ago.
That's thanks to Beyond Light. No, we did. We knew there was going to be an expansion because the new game director said...
We didn't know the name and things like that.
Yeah, true, yeah.
But here's the thing, I just want to sort of stick up for Bungie in just a little bit here before we close off with these questions. It's very easy to say, they have to think of something because they want to make money. I am very, very happy about the fact that Bungie are making money, and the reason why I say that is because I genuinely love this game. I love this game, and I want to keep playing this game, and I want to keep playing more and more and more of it. And knowing that it's going to continue on because they're making money from these things, I think is a good thing. You have to understand from a business perspective, it is not bad for a business to be making money, and that should not be frowned upon. How they obtain that money is a separate question entirely, and that is the part you should judge. But the company actually making money from selling expansions and content and things like that, that is not a bad thing. At the end of the day, you have people who work for Bungie, they have families, they have mouths they need to feed, and them making money as a business is not something that should be frowned upon. And I am excited for the future of Destiny and if they're making money through expansions or through silver or through seasons, so what? I love the game. I met my best friends through this game. So I just wanted to sort of close off with that, because I feel like Bungie get quite a lot of stick with when it comes to profits and things like that, and I genuinely I'm not too bothered about it.
Yeah.
They're not the only company to try their best to make money through every avenue.
Right. I mean, look at Activision. They're literally a meme for loot boxes. So
yeah.
I don't think when you compare Bungie to other game developers and other companies out there, they're really not that bad if you think about it. It's not you shouldn't frown upon a company because they're selling an expansion.
At least Bungie doesn't abuse its female workforce.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a separate thing entirely. But
Exactly.
I respect Bungie as a company, and them making all this money is something I'm genuinely excited about because it means I'm going to get more Destiny 2 content. Like I said, I met my best friends on this game, and I want to keep playing it.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, and I concur.
Good game.
So, yeah, that's basically all the questions answered.
Cool.
So, I want to first of all thank my friends Brad and Ewan for doing this 3 times. Well, Brad did it 3 times anyway. And
What do you mean? This is the first time, first take. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
exactly. Yeah. But I thank you for your
Yeah.
patience and your enthusiasm
All good.
and your great answers. Really appreciate that. Second of all, I want to thank
Yeah,
the viewers for giving me your questions and for being so patient. Honestly,
And let us know your thoughts
Yeah.
and opinions as well.
honestly, I didn't think that it would take this long for the podcast to come out, but I mean, we just life. I don't know what happened. I don't know, but I was talking to guys on the I was talking to guys.
Your recording software knows exactly what happened.
Yeah, I was talking to guys on the Discord, and they, they made it clear not to rush and just to do whatever. So, yeah, and most likely because of the length of this, it will be recorded as its own podcast. So, I mean, I guess 2 podcasts for the price of 1 or whatever. I mean, sure. But anyway, that's that. If you have any feedback for how you want me to improve my podcast style, let me know. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your amazing support. And yeah, take care. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Boy.
Bye.
Get up here, boy!
Venextron's time is at hand, and together we will all rise.